Hello and welcome back to the Hazzabhajan YouTube channel. It is Harry here, and today it is time for another installment in the Nation Roulette series where we investigate football in the various nations that scatter the globe that we live on. If you count Greenland as part of North America, which some people do and some people don't, then we are entering our 5th continent in just 5 videos, as we're going to investigate the footballing scene in the remote outpost of Oceania, that is Fiji. As much as I would love to say this is planned,
it really wasn't.
Maybe one day I'll get another powerhouse of the footballing world to investigate like I did with Colombia a few episodes back. But for now, Fiji is the one who is under the microscope for its footballing credentials. And if you go on to enjoy the video, hit a like, hit the subscribe, and of course comment while you're at it and ring the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video straight away. But without further ado, let's investigate the footballing scene in Fiji. A tiny country located 1,300 miles northeast of New Zealand, Fiji is a country which is 18,274 kilometers squared in size across its 330 islands and 500 islets, although only 110 of them are actually inhabitable, with 2 of them, Viti Levu and Vanua Levu, sharing 87% of the circa 887,000 population that inhabits the country between them. And also, if I get any pronunciations wrong during the course of this video, I can only apologise. With the majority of their islands formed through volcanic activity around 150 million years ago, Fiji sadly haven't had quite such an explosion on the international football stage as of yet. The primary sport within the country is rugby, as over 80,000 of the population are officially registered as rugby players. In line with this, they have been regular features at Rugby World Cups in recent times, with their best performance to date being a quarter-final exit to South Africa in 2007, and the Rugby Sevens team brought home the nation's first ever Olympic gold medal in 2016. As a result, football is most definitely a secondary priority within the archipelagic country, both in the men's and women's game, as netball is the most popular sport amongst women. However, the beautiful game has been rumoured to have existed on the island since 1889, with the first team, Suva Sports Club, formed in 1905. Competitive football has been present ever since 1924, with the first cup competition allegedly seeing the teams playing in bare feet. Interest did die out though, and it was only revitalised amongst the Fijian Indian population, who set up the country's FA in October 1938, hosting 2 competitions over the 2 days after the FA's establishment to boot. Controversy arose with this, however, as the official title of the FA was the Fijian Indian Football Association, which, if you hadn't realised it by now, shares an acronym with football's world governing body, FIFA. The actual FIFA didn't mind another nation sharing their acronym, although they objected to the inclusion of the word Indian in the association, and after much pressure, the Fijian equivalent backed down, removing Indian from it to make it a much more multicultural and inclusive organisation. Ever since then, despite rugby's overall greater prevalence, football has become much more popular on the island. Or islands, if you rather. There has been a greater focus on youth and grassroots development in recent times, working in tandem with the development of futsal in the country to enhance players' skills. Their 3rd technical centre in the country, following in the footsteps of the National Football Academy set up in Bar in 2003 with the aid of FIFA's Goal Project, and a regional technical centre in Suva, was given the go-ahead to be built during the course of this year in Labasa, with star player Roy Krishna, who was born in Labasa himself, providing funds to help the project be completed. They're now powerhouses of the Oceanic Confederation, although that's equivalent to saying that Chloe is a standout character in Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Oceania is the weakest of the 6 global confederations by a considerable distance, especially after Australia upped sticks and affiliated themselves with the Asian Football Confederation in 2006, with New Zealand now being the best land at football within the region. It was the Kiwis who actually provided Fiji's first ever international opposition, although in what must have been a crackerjack of a game, Fiji went down 6-4. Their next 3 games would also see them face New Zealand, although they lost all of them in pretty spectacular fashion, and after that 4th game, they didn't play another game internationally for 11 years between 1952 and 1963. In 1964, 26 years after their FA was established, they were affiliated into FIFA, and 2 years later they were founding members of the OFC, alongside Australia, New Zealand and Papua New Guinea. They had already shown that they weren't just there to make up the numbers, albeit those numbers were admittedly quite small, as despite not playing a match for 11 years, they finished 2nd at the South Pacific Games in 1963, a competition which they have won twice since, in 1991 and 2003, and runners-up in a further 3 times. After they were granted independence by Britain in 1973, free from the shackles of colonial rule, they played in the first OFC Nations Cup in 1973, and duly lost all 4 of their games, finishing bottom of the group.
What a waste of time.
Their first qualification attempt for the World Cup came for the 1982 tournament in Spain, although that would somehow prove to be even worse, as although they won a game against Chinese Taipei, they managed to concede 35 goals in just 8 games, finishing bottom of their group on goal difference behind Chinese Taipei. Unsurprisingly, they haven't qualified for a World Cup since, with Australia and New Zealand the only 2 Oceania nations to qualify for a World Cup to date. After a 1987 coup d'etat which saw them completely removed from any British rule, they became the Republic of Fiji, and although coup d'etats have continued to blight the country ever since, football has still kept on growing and growing. In their overall World Cup qualification stats since their first attempt at qualifying for the 1982 finals, they've only lost 3 more games than they have won in all, and they've also emerged with a positive goal difference of +9, although having said that, the number of minnows in the Oceanic Confederation is, regrettably, if understandably, quite large. They finished second in their World Cup qualifying groups each and every time between 1998 and 2006, although it didn't earn them qualification once to the continental playoffs. They're still yet to reach a final at the OFC Nations Cup, with their best finishes to date being 2 third-place finishes in 1998 and 2008, although their under-20 side made it to the under-20 FIFA World Cup in 2015, their only FIFA-affiliated tournament appearance to date, where they shocked Honduras 3-0 before exiting at the group stages. Esala Massi is their leading appearance maker and highest goal scorer too, with 32 goals in either 49 games or 52 games. Sources do vary. For his country, but their best player right now is probably Roy Krishna, who is one of the star players in the Australian A-League right up until his transfer to the Indian Super League in 2019. Each of their squad played locally, apart from Krishna and defender Nicolas Prasad, who plays in Germany's Regionalliga Nordost, the 4th tier of German football. Their highest position in the FIFA World Rankings came in 1994, when they hit the dizzying heights of 94th, although they are 163rd right now and have reached a nadir of 199th as recently as 2015. Their biggest win was against Kiribati in 1979, with a 24-0 thumping of the affiliate nation, although 2 years later, New Zealand inflicted their record defeat with a 13-0 trouncing of their own. Their National League consists of just 8 teams who play each other twice, but it is sponsored by mobile phone company Vodafone, so I guess they're winning on that front. I expect Yoda to be playing up front for one of the teams at some stage. Anyhow, although there was a National Club Championship between 1986 and 2010, as well as a short-lived Franchise League between 2005 and 2006, they were both discontinued for the sole focus to be on the National League. The first iteration took place in 1977, as the wonderfully named Bar FC emerged as the first ever victors, and they've gone on to win it 20 more times since, making them the most successful side in the country, followed by Nadi FC on 9. A club from Fiji is yet to win the Oceanic Champions League, although 3 have reached the final, Bar in 2007, Nadi in 1999 and Lautoka in 2018. As of the time of this recording, Reva FC stand atop the league, having scored just 16 goals in 11 games. George Graham must be the manager, surely. With 3 games to play, and on course for the first title in their history, and Bar FC are down in 3rd, albeit only 3 points behind. Will we ever see Fiji at a World Cup? Who knows? Although my sneaking suspicion is that if they were to qualify, they would probably be given a hiding by the teams they played against. I sincerely hope that doesn't happen, but maybe with the developments being made in the country, even in spite of the ramifications of the COVID-19 pandemic, it is impossible to rule out at least one appearance at some stage. That just about concludes today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, if you've missed out on any of the Nation Roulette episodes thus far, we've covered Colombia, the Central African Republic, Andorra and Greenland. A link to the playlist is down below in the description. And of course, whilst you're there, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video when I upload it. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you then.